This is the SourceMLS podcast with Mark, John and Rich. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest podcast here with SourceMLS. I'm Mark, here with John and Rich. Hi gents.
Good afternoon.
John,
Alright,
hello,
good to be back.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We were off on Monday, but we are back this Friday for this weekend's fixtures. And to start it all off, we've got New York City who are playing Orlando at the Yankee Stadium at 11 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time this evening. Rich, our man, is covering that. Rich, kick us off.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one, guys, actually, to be fair. I think it's a big game for both teams. I think Orlando really need to start getting some points on the board. 3 points, definitely. I mean, coming off the back of 2 home games against beatable opposition, they're now facing a testing New York side who can score the goals, but they can't stop conceding them. Me and John watched this game down at the bar on Sunday night, and we both of us highlighted it. We were covering the game on the @source_MLS Twitter handle, and we both commented actually on how lackadaisical New York's defensive sort of performances have been over the last couple of games.
It hasn't been great. I mean, you just need to look at the Chicago score. Granted, they won the game, well done to them, but they conceded 3 goals. And the Toronto one, they shot into a 2-0 lead very comfortably. They put Toronto straight on the back foot. Bear in mind, this is a Toronto side who kept a clean sheet against New York in the first game. Very well to do that. They put Toronto straight on the back foot, shot into a 2-0 lead. But then they became, I wouldn't say lackadaisical, but they were rather complacent would be maybe the word to use. Would you agree with me, Rich, that the first goal just before half-time, Giovinco, he swings in a lovely free kick. However, I'm desperately trying to remember who scored the goal. Perquise who scores the goal. None of the New York defenders are picking him up. None of them at all.
No, it was the easiest goal you'll score, like in any standard of football.
And from that, Toronto then had you go into half time, you've got a goal back. You're suddenly thinking, hey, we can get back into this, and Toronto do. Giovinco gets a goal back and ends the game 2-2. However, you look from those 2 results and you think, well, for New York City, who last season I believe finished 7th in the Eastern Conference, hey, they've got a win and a draw against 2 opposition, which to get a win and draw is pretty good. However, I mean, if you count in going from their last 6, including 2 from the start of this season and the 4 from the end of last year, they haven't kept a clean sheet in any of them. Look at it. 2-1 win again away to Vancouver, 2-1 loss away to DC, 2-1 loss away to Orlando, 3-1 loss, 3-1 loss at home to New England. Then you've got 4-3, 2-all, like I said.
I think that, what did we say last time when when New York beat Chicago 4-3? Football is obviously about you can concede as many as you like as long as you score more than the opposition. That's basic. Until you come up against a good team like Toronto, where if you do switch off defensively, they will punish you. And I think that you could argue that while New York did have the better balance of play in the first half, both goals were kind of fortunate.
Yeah.
But by the same token, when I think one of the New York wingers it might have been
it was
McNamara who fired that ball across.
Yes.
Irwin sort of clipped in the step of his heel, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And went through the legs of a Toronto defender on the line, hit the post and went out for a corner. I mean, that sort of look when it did go against New York, I mean, it probably should have definitely been more than 2-1 to the good at half time.
However, you look at the other way of it. Bear in mind, both these squads, this is their only second year. It is the set to both the 2 new clubs playing each other here. Orlando have had 2 home games at Citrus Bowl, of which, first of all, I'm going to give a shout out to all Orlando fans who are listening in.
Again, brilliant
Your support has been absolutely phenomenal even at the Citrus Bowl. It is absolutely breathtaking. I will give it to all fans of that for packing out that twice. But both times, I think Orlando against, no offence to Salt Lake and Chicago, but these are 2 teams they probably should have got points from. Points by 3
definitely.
points. However, both of them to get draws. Granted, if you look at the Salt Lake game, 2 Ray Lake goals to get a draw at the time was great. However, at the start of the match, I bet you if I had asked any Orlando fan, they would have said, yeah, we want 3 points from this. Chicago would have wanted 3 points. They cannot drop these points.
They can't.
They've got 2 from possible 6.
They can't. They have to start, like I say, getting more points on the board from these fixtures. I mean, I'm not sure who they've got after New York, but I mean, this represents for Orlando the first genuine test of their campaign.
Yeah.
To see where they're at. I mean, I've not heard anything on the Kaka sort of front.
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't seen any update. I mean, I'm not sure if he is going to be playing tonight.
According to the source I've got here, Orlando are unlikely to change their squad, though Nocherino may make the bench. I'd put it like this. If New York come out the gates in tonight's game with the same ferocity that they had against Toronto, I see Orlando suffering. Because like New York, they haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 6 either, if you count the final 4 from the end of last campaign.
So we think it'll be a game full of goals.
Discarund, I mean, we saw
he played class last week.
Discarund played with class.
Really well.
McNamara, David Villa back on form, which is lovely to see. And the one thing I'll say is Pirlo started to play better.
Yeah.
There's me and Rich, mostly me, I'll freely admit, was slating him a bit at the start of the match. However, he pulls off this, like the Pirlo of old, a fantastic curled ball from about 10 metres inside his own half to the box, and it falls just short of Villa. It's a beautiful weighted ball. I mean,
Villa should have scored that chance.
Yeah, he should have taken it. It shows that New York are starting to gel more. Vieira's getting them to play together.
I think we saw a tactical switch in the second half from Vieira, where I think he moved one of the centre midfielders to play just alongside Pirlo. I mean,
yeah, I think he dropped Disco back.
Pirlo had to keep coming deep in the first half. You notice he was playing like he was everywhere. He was at the left back role, trying to pick the ball up because they were not getting the ball to him in the midfield. But once they got the ball to him in the midfield, albeit it was too little too late in the second half because obviously Toronto pulled it back to 2-2. I think that if Pirlo is, I mean, obviously it takes 2 or 3 games for Vieira to really get his sort of tactics and plan for the matches sort of ingrained in the players.
Meanwhile,
I think we should be definitely giving a shout out to Giovinco.
Yeah, but
because I think he did really well last week.
It's the one thing of.
But he should have scored. He had too many. He had a lot of chances.
New York City, if they're to win against Orlando, they've got to stop conceding simple goals. And the first goal that Toronto scored, I'm sorry to New York City fans and also New York City podcast, who we had a wonderful little bit of banter over on Twitter during the game. Big shout out to them. I'm sorry to them lot, but the defending for that free kick is no one picks him up.
Yeah, it is basic.
No, granted, it's a good ball from Giovinco. It's just high enough and has enough whip on it so that it's going to be in the dangerous spot for the goalkeeper, where it's not a guarantee if you rush out you're going to get it. However, no one picks him up. There's no one marking him. He just goes straight through, takes it in the goal. Bing bang bosh. Fantastic. It's from a manager's point of view, for you scoring it, it's great. Set piece, it's worked, it's fine. You've got a goal back just before half time. However, from Vieira's point of view, he's got to be sitting there, probably with his head in his hands, because none of his defenders, no one on his team has picked him up. And that's disappointing in my view. However, with the flip side, Orlando, they again haven't kept many clean sheets either. I think this is going to come down to which strike force is going to be going better. Bear in mind, Carl Laren netted against Chicago Fire. He's getting back in form again. Did fantastic last season. I think it's going to be a game of who's going to be firing better, Laren or Villa. And considering that Villa's backup crew, so to speak, of Discarund, McNamara, Pirlo, they're looking a lot better. And the fact I've just read that Kaka will not start. He's still out with a strained thigh.
I honestly can't really see.
I can't see a clean sheet for New York.
I can't see New York not winning this game tonight, I'm afraid. I really can't. I think the quality they possess, I think they can score goals, can't they? And Orlando have conceded well. I think
it's 2 teams that are managing to score but are failing to keep a clean sheet. That's what I can.
Which makes for a very entertaining game for the neutral, but not for an Orlando fan.
Anyway, moving on. Our next game, I believe, is yours, Mark, correct?
Yes, it is, guys. I've got Sporting Kansas City versus Toronto, and I think this game promises to be very, very entertaining. Sporting Kansas City are one of the only 3 teams so far in the entire country to have won both games that they played so far, and Toronto have impressed also so far. Obviously, Giovinco, like you were saying there, being very, very impressive. I think for me, the key part to this game is each of the team's so-called talismans, if you like, performing today, or performing on Sunday, should I say. For Kansas City, you've got Dwyer, a very, very able striker.
Whose goal was
absolutely two very, very good
unbelievable
goals.
Last week.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen it, I'm strongly advised go watch Dom Dwyer's. I believe it's his second goal. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
It was a beautiful goal.
Yeah, Dom Dwyer is been very, very good so far this season, and obviously with Toronto, obviously saying you have to look no further than Giovinco, obviously MVP last season. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists already this season.
Again, his goal was a peach last week.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, it promises to be a very, very highly entertaining game, and for me, I can't pick a winner out of this. I thought Giovinco could, if he gets on the score sheet, I think they'll win it, Toronto, but I think it will be a very, very close game.
Let's go down for the form, Mark.
Just going to say, though, whilst Rich looks at the form, both these teams are undefeated so far. 2 wins for Sporting KC, Toronto have a win and a draw. And the one thing that I think may tell in this, though, is Toronto now, this is their 3rd away game on the trot. And the last 2 haven't been too bad, because Toronto to New York, both the New York's teams they just played, that's not as long a trip. However, Toronto all the way over to Kansas, that's a bit more of a trip. And the fact it's 3 away on the bounce, I think that might start to tell, especially considering their defence was utterly put on the back foot straight out gate by New York. That might tell. However, Kansas City, I'm going to go with Kansas City in this one personally. I think Dom Dwyer mixed with Zusi has been a great combination so far. Yeah, Sporting KC to win this one for me, lads. Don't know what you think on that though, Mark.
As I said, I think it's too close to call from our perspective. I mean, judging by last week's score predictions, we're not going to get very far with these ones. But I think, if anybody, I think Toronto will edge it. I mean, like you say, obviously the travelling with the 3 away games in a row is obviously may or may not show. We'll have to wait and see with that. But I think with the potential that's in Toronto's squads, that we've already seen, I think they've got potential to win the game. But like you say, Kansas have been, exceeded expectations so far, and we'll have to wait and see whether they can keep doing that.
I'm just going to say before we finish on that one, Sporting have a 6-game undefeated streak versus Toronto dating back to 2013, and Toronto have never won at Sporting Park in their history. I think it may tell again.
Times may change.
Sounds like the odds are stacked against Toronto, doesn't it?
Anyway, our final game this weekend is one I'm taking. It's the Californian Derby, ladies and gentlemen. LA Galaxy are hosting San Jose Earthquakes at the StubHub Center. It's going to be a 1:30 Eastern Time kickoff. I believe Greenwich time that is 2:30 a.m. over here. Galaxy coming off their first defeat of the season against Colorado, conceding a very, very late goal, which is fantastically well taken, I may say. Meanwhile, I'll give it to San Jose Earthquakes, upsetting all the odds here at SourceMLS. We all banked on Portland to win. Fantastic goal from... it's not Wondolowski, sorry.
Wondolowski did
Marika.
score.
Was it
Marika, yes. Marika with a
yeah.
fantastic chip goal, which is... It's got to be between him and Dom Dwyer for goal of the week, just saying that in my personal eyes, lads. With Christopher Wondolowski, of course, scoring the first. 2-1 win that. I think this is poison and knife edge. Bear in mind, LA first week come from 1-0 down to demolish DC. Absolutely obliterated them. Meanwhile, San Jose, they've clocked up 2 pretty good wins now. Beating Colorado, bear in mind who LA lost to in the first week, in the second week. And then calling 2-1 at home to Portland. I think this is good. However, San Jose, this is their first away game. And LA are now back at home. And LA are going to want to look back to bounce back from losing to Colorado. Colorado was a big upset. It really was not in Arena's plans, I imagine, to lose to someone. No offense to Colorado Rapids fans, but if Galaxy are looking to take back the Western Conference title, they can't lose to teams like Colorado. These are teams you need to bag 3 points against. I don't know. This one's poised on a knife edge, lads. Views?
Well, for me personally, if you'd have asked me a week ago about this game, I said Galaxy all day long. But Galaxy not scoring, I mean, yes, losing to Colorado is a bad thing, but the fact that they didn't score against Colorado is troubling in my view. Like I say, if you've asked me this a week ago before they played that game, I'd say Galaxy all day long would beat San Jose, but San Jose have impressed me and Galaxy haven't. So I think, again, I'm going to go for San Jose to win this, to be honest. I mean, I think emotions and talent might show in this game, with it being a California derby. I think Wondolowski will have to play a key part up front, but again, I think the big name players are going to have to show in this game.
I think that, well, I wouldn't like to bet against the talent, but I can completely see where you're coming from, Mark. The whole idea of San Jose having stunned Portland, to be honest, and LA with that sickener in the last minute against Colorado.
Yeah.
All the signs.
It was at the completely.
All
at the
the
death.
signs kind of point towards San Jose, but I think is it Bruce? Who's the manager?
Bruce Arena
Bruce
is
Arena.
the manager of LA Galaxy.
So Bruce Arena probably will be looking again to his veteran players to try and get them out of this rut. I think if they do lose to San Jose, then questions will start to be. I know it's very early days, but questions will start to be asked of Galaxy and where they are heading this season.
I was going to say people are already asking questions of New York Red Bulls.
Yeah.
They've lost their first two out the bat. Seattle Sounders.
I think that's compared to last season's high standards. That's why the questions are being raised. Obviously, it's first two games. You've got to give them time. But yeah.
But I don't know if last season, last week's results are anything to sort of go by. But this league seems to be very difficult to predict this year.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean, last week's results were unbelievable. Portland losing, Houston,
Texas
Dallas
derby,
5-0. You know, Union beating Columbus 2-1 in Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, who and Colorado beating LA, Salt Lake beating Seattle, Montreal beating New York. Yeah, but I think Galaxy will have this one.
You're saying Galaxy. Mark's going with San Jose. I don't know. The only reason is whilst LA were not up to form in the Colorado match, I'll give it to Colorado. Colorado just took them out of the game. They went, right, we're going to take you all the way the full 90. And right at the death, LA switched off. The defending is a little bit comical before the goal. They do not clear the ball. They need to get it out of the penalty box. Galaxy do not do that. And I'll give it to Rapids. They do what you should. They smash it back into the box and fire it into the top corner. It's well taken. Meanwhile, I mean, San Jose only conceded 1 goal so far out of 2 games. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Mark on this one against you, Rich. I'm gonna go San Jose to win this.
You know how much it pains me to go against the Galaxy as well.
I think we are aware, aren't we, of how much it pains you, Mark.
The veterans though in the Galaxy squad, Gerrard, and the young. I'd also say Giovinco because he's
Robbie Keane.
Yeah, Robbie Keane. I'd also say
McGee.
I'd say these players need to turn around to the rest of the squad and go, hey, we can't let this one loss turn into a streak. Because you can lose one simple game and then you suddenly go into a complete freefall.
It's confidence. And it's a game of confidence, isn't it? No matter how many stars you can have. Look at Manchester City in the Premier League. No matter how many stars you've got, you lose one on Arsenal. Lose one game, lose 2 games, and all of a sudden you can't find yourself getting out of this rut.
Arena and the rest of the coaching crew at Galaxy and the veterans there need to turn around to the rest of the squad and go, hey, we need to get out of this. We can't lose the second game on the bounce. However, saying that, I think San Jose's. I'm going to tip them to win this one.
Right. One thing we forgot to do with the other games is score predictions. So we'll go through the 3 that we've gone through first, and then we'll rattle through the other ones as well. So New York City versus Orlando, guys. What are we going for there?
2-1 to New York.
New York. Ooh.
I'm going to agree with Rich on that one. 2-1.
2-1 New York. John.
Are you going to go against or for?
Oh, see, New York City, again, similar in LA Galaxy, where they've got the players there and you think they should beat everybody. But they have, well, they really haven't impressed me defensively. I'm going to go for 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1. I think they should cancel each other out in this.
Right, okay. Other game that we haven't done is
Kansas
versus Toronto.
Yes. I'm going to go for... I said it was going to be too close to score, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go for 2-2 in that one.
I'm going to say 2-0 Kansas City.
And Rich?
Well, I can't really bet against Gia. 2-1 Toronto.
So a mixed bag there. Win, draw.
Yes,
buoyed off
home draw and away.
Buoyed off our opening couple of games form. Tell you now, lads. Because, as we saw last week, it's just going to be a lot simpler if we just bet against a favourite.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Right, the Californian Derby. John, what do you think with this?
Bear
in mind you said San Jose.
Yeah, I said San Jose. I'm going to stick with San Jose. I'm going to go 1-0 San Jose.
Rich?
Yeah, Galaxy. I said Galaxy. Go on, Galaxy 2-0.
Galaxy 2-0. Ooh. See, I don't want to say Galaxy aren't going to win this, but the way that San Jose and Galaxy have been playing, it only points to me to a San Jose win. I'm going to go for 2-1 San Jose. Right. Moving swiftly forward, we're going to go through each game as we usually do and predict our scores and just have a brief preview of all of them. The first one that we're going to look at is Chicago 5 versus Columbus Crew, which kicks off at 9 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Saturday. Guys, what do you think of this one?
Columbus Crew, the away team, but I think I'm going to see him bouncing back. 2-0 Crew.
2-0 Crew. So, do you think Kamara's got after fine form for this?
I think from last week's loss, they've just got to bounce back into this one.
Yeah, one of the few teams that only lost both games as well.
Rich, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I want to see Kamara come through for the Crew, finally. But then again, Chicago drew 1-1 with Orlando last time, and David Ackham looks on fine form, doesn't he?
Ackham looks quality.
He does. He looks on really good form. I'm going to go for a draw 1-1.
Draw. I'm going to side with Rich. I think it's going to be very, very close. I think Columbus, if you said to me a week ago, Columbus against Chicago, I said Columbus all day long, but the last week's games just show that those predictions go out the window, so I'm going to go 1-1 as well.
But I mean, what did we say at the start of when we first set up this podcast? We were looking at the opening round of games and we saw Portland-Columbus as obviously the rematch of the Cup final, and I sort of said in my preview, we said on this show as well, didn't we, that looking at how do teams respond to defeat, and early days yet, of course, but you could argue the Crew haven't responded yet, or if they have responded, they're not. I mean, the captain, I forget his name now, the captain for Columbus, the centre back, the big lad, Michael Pankhurst.
I believe I'm correct on saying Pankhurst. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Crew fans.
But he did say that it was time for them to sort of show that they can bounce back from a defeat, and there was an interview with a couple of the younger midfielders in the Crew's team who said that they were devastated, and I think they are. I think they still are. Now this game is an absolute massive barometer and test to see where they are at. It's okay going down to Portland again in the first match of the season.
But if there's to get playoffs at the end of the season,
is it okay though to lose to Portland, or do you think that should be seen as must win every game?
It's never okay to lose a game. However,
no, of course not. But I think putting it into, like Johnson said, putting it into some sort of context where, okay, you lose to Portland at home, it's not a massive disaster, it's not the end of the world, and then you go and ship 2 goals to Philadelphia at home, and you lose 2-1 there, and everyone kind of thinking, hang on a minute, that Portland game isn't an anomaly, and actually we cannot stop conceding goals and we can't score them either, which is obviously a fundamental issue.
However, as I'm going to get onto when we get onto Philly's game, I thought Philadelphia Union were very, very good, a much improved side from last season. They impressed me a lot. Our next game, because we have to move on, is New York hosting Houston Dynamo. Houston Dynamo coming off the 5-0 win in the Texas Derby. New York still yet to record a win.
Stuttering New York.
Mark, you're first up on this one.
I think Dynamo should get this one. I think they should. New York Red Bulls have the team that I watched last week, I failed to see how they topped the Eastern Conference last season, because the quality that it just isn't there. Bradley Wright Phillips just doesn't seem to be able to make an impact in games yet. Obviously, we're early days, but I don't think he's making an impact in games yet. Dynamo, all three of us wrote those off against Dallas in the Texan derby, and they're one of the other teams that have impressed me this season so far. So I think Dynamo will get this, but I think it will be a close game. I think I'm going to go for 2-0 Dynamo.
I don't think that any team comes off a derby victory of in the manner that Houston beat Dallas and then goes and puts in a lackluster performance against any team. So I think that Houston will come away with a draw from this 1-1.
You're saying 1-1 draw?
Yeah.
See,
this is John's team.
Yeah,
John's
I have a liking for Dynamo. Bear in mind,
I'm
not
just like Owen Coyle, mate. Said it all
no, not that much actually. But no,
Sorry, Owen.
sorry to break your heart, Mr. Cole. Dynamo's always a team I've just rather admired. However, the one I think I'm going to agree with Rich. I'm going to say a 0-0 draw. I honestly think it.
Interesting.
However, New York fans and Dynamo fans, you should bear something in mind. Every single time I've tried to predict the New York score, New York is the only team that I have always got wrong. Every time I've got New York wrong. I've never predicted a New York Red Bull score correct so far.
First time for everything.
So
John.
there is a first time for everything. However, of the pundits within our room, when it comes to New York scores, I will freely admit, I'm having a bad time at the moment. I need to get one of these.
I don't think any of us are doing that well.
I don't think any of us are doing that well.
No, last week between the three of us, we got 3 spot on scores, and overall we predicted 9 correct. However, we did all get some big results wrong, such as the Texas Derby. Moving on.
I've just got the scores here, actually. Let's have a look through there, just to bring it up. I predicted 3-1 Dallas against Dynamo. John predicted 2-1 Dallas. And Rich predicted 2-0 Dallas. So we all did.
Yeah, we all.
Smashing there.
Houston fans, we freely admit we are sorry.
And we probably jinxed Dallas, didn't we?
Yeah, we probably jinxed
Again, we
Dallas.
apologise to Dallas fans.
Jesse Gonzalez, stop
Right.
listening to the podcast. Get back in goal.
We have an opportunity to make up for it now, because we've got moving on to our next game, which is Dallas against Montreal Impact. And me personally, sorry again, Dallas, but Dallas fans, but I'm going to go for Montreal in this one. They impressed me against New York Red Bulls last week, winning 3-0, was it?
I believe so, yes.
Yes, 3-0, very, very convincing. Piatti on form once again for them. I can't see it going any other way than a Montreal win.
Rich.
We need to talk about Didier.
Is he
back?
I
didn't
think.
think.
I mean,
Feed the drop.
Sam Stejskal from MLS, I think that's how you pronounce your name.
Yes,
Sam.
yeah.
He is training with Montreal this week, and although he's not played yet, he's been putting a lot of work in this week and last week, and he might be playing this weekend.
I don't know if they'd risk him for this game. However, I'm going to agree with Mark. I think Montreal Impact are going to take this 2-0.
2-0.
I think that Dallas won't. They've got a hiding last week. Yeah, Montreal are going to win 2-0. Yeah.
We've all backed Montreal.
I haven't come up with a score yet.
Oh, okay.
I think Dallas will, like you said, like Rich alluded to earlier, with winning the derby of what magnitude like Dynamo did, but I think losing a derby like that, that's going to definitely show the squad's character. How Dallas respond in this game is going to show the credentials that they have got this season. If they show fight and determination, I think they've got a really good squad there. Even though they did lose 5-0, obviously, it's never nice to lose to that degree, especially to a bitter rival.
Yeah.
But,
It's not, is it, Forest fans?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Only because.
Timed at 29 minutes.
Only because it is Derby Forest tomorrow, so I had to
29
get that one in there.
Rich, this is an MLS podcast, not an English podcast.
Sorry.
I could quite easily bring up last night's results.
No,
But I'm not.
I feel like I do have to tell you. Just obviously, this is very, very off topic. Liverpool have just been drawn to face Dortmund.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to carry on the podcast. Sadly, Mark has gone into a comatose state in the studio. Meanwhile, carrying on. So what are you saying for the Montreal Impact score?
Yeah,
Rich?
2-1 to Montreal, I think.
2-1 to Montreal. Oh, Marky's back with the living again. What's your score, mate?
Right.
Do you need a cup of tea?
Right, we're going to have to go off air before I discuss this. But you're going 2-1, Rich. I thought you said 2-0.
I'm going 2-1 now.
I said 2-0.
Yeah. I'm going to go for 3-1 Montreal.
Okay, our next games, we have got the Pacific Derby, Seattle versus Vancouver Whitecaps at Seattle. I'm personally, Vancouver have got this in my head. I'm saying 3-1 Vancouver.
Well, the Sounders haven't got off to the best of starts this season.
Have not got off to the best of starts.
Again.
Similar to Red Bulls, don't you think? Like the fact that there's a lot of potential there and a lot of talent there from last season. Clint Dempsey, yeah.
I think Seattle weren't ready for the loss of Obafemi Martins.
No. That hit him like a truck.
It's hit him like a truck. So I'm saying 3-1 Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 2-1 Vancouver.
Mark.
See, I think I'm a big fan of Vancouver. I'm a big fan of them. They have impressed me last season, but this season, I mean, they've been a bit hit and miss. Seattle obviously haven't got off the ground yet, but I think sooner or later Seattle has got to get firing. And I think in front of their home fans, I think this is a good chance. I think I'm going to go for 2-1 Seattle.
2-1 Seattle, right.
I'm going to go against the...
It's recovered, haven't we?
Moving on, we have Portland Timbers versus Real Salt Lake.
Oh, this is a tasty game.
Yeah.
It's a rather tasty game indeed.
Me personally, I think it's going to be a high-scoring draw.
High-scoring draw, you say?
2-2 or a 3-3 could be on the mix here because I think both teams could cancel each other out. But Portland, again, I think have got to show a lot more fight in them than they did last week. Definitely against who was it they were playing against? Sorry.
They lost to San Jose.
San Jose, yes.
2-1.
They've got to show a lot of more fight than they did there. They beat Columbus Crew, obviously, in a very tight game the week before. But these are the games where you're playing an informed Real Salt Lake, where they're Joao Plata, who is very good vein of form at the moment. They're going to have to do very well to contain him, which I don't think they can do given their current state of form. But I think Portland themselves have got goals in them as well. So I think this could be a high-scoring draw. I'm going to go for 2-2.
2-2. What are you thinking, Rich?
Portland will win. It's at home, isn't it?
Is our Portland at home, Rich?
Providence Park.
Just to clear this up last week, if there's any confusion, Rich accidentally stated, because fair, I'll give it to Rich.
Not my fault.
The source he got did actually say that Columbus were at home a few weeks back.
Google.
It was in fact...
It said Portland at Columbus.
Is it Portland at Columbus?
At Columbus, in his defence, yes, but we still like
But it was Portland who were home. Portland who are at home this game, we have checked.
Yes. Right, what we're going for, John?
I'm going with Timbers as well. Sorry, Salt Lake fans. I'm going to say 2-1 though. I see Salt Lake scoring.
2-1. So what score are you going for, Rich?
I'm going to go for a 2-1 Portland win.
2-1 Portland.
We've both gone 2-1 again. Next up, it's Philly versus New England. Philadelphia Union versus New England.
To some, these are like some of the forgotten teams in the...
we haven't covered them as much.
We haven't covered them. New England in particular, we haven't covered them. We should probably do. This game is, I think, live on Sky as well.
Yes.
I think so. This is a very good opportunity for us to get our teeth into these teams. Philadelphia are a team that we completely wrote off last week against Columbus.
And they came out of nowhere.
Yes, they came out of nowhere, just played very, very well. New England held to a 0-0 draw last week.
And a 3-0 draw first week away at Houston Dynamo.
Very, very contrasting games. One game, obviously, edge of your seat stuff, and one game where you basically might as well go to sleep.
Free scoring, and one that wasn't...
Exactly.
I wouldn't say it was go to sleep, but it was not as exciting. It's hard to come down from a 3-0 draw, I think.
Me personally, I think this is going to be a close game. High scoring, maybe not. I'm going to go for 1-1.
I think I'll agree with you there, Mark.
You're both going 1-0.
Yeah.
I'm, on the other hand, Philadelphia...
But then again, Philadelphia could be buoyed by that big win.
I watched
Columbus.
I watched the Columbus game, and Philadelphia impressed me a lot. I have to admit, I was very wrong about them. And New England... Did you say 1-0, wasn't it?
What, New England? 0-0.
Oh, it was 0-0?
0-0, yeah.
Ooh. So that's changed my mind, because I thought it was... I misread it as 1-0. No, it hasn't changed my mind. Philadelphia's still to win this one. I'm going to say 2-0 Philly.
2-0.
I just think they're starting to... The squad just... It seems better. They've gelled. They've clicked in the Crew game. And, I mean, if they beat New England, It's going to give them momentum. So I'm going with Philadelphia.
Right.
Our final game that we haven't predicted is DC United host Colorado. Gents, your feelings?
I'm going to book the trend of me going for the easy route. I think Colorado are going to beat him.
You think Colorado?
I think Colorado are going to beat him, mate, yeah.
You think Colorado? Have they impressed you after what happened?
Well, I think that if you've got a team like Colorado who we have predicted to not do very well this year, they then go out and who did they beat last week? They beat
LA, the final minute goal.
Of course they do, with a 95th minute goal from a defender, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult again with Houston. It's difficult to see them come out of this result and not be fired up for another testing match. So I think they're gonna. Actually, I don't think they'll win. I think they'll draw.
What score are we going for, Rich?
1-1.
1-1.
Meanwhile, Mark, what are you thinking for this one?
Again, DC are a team that we haven't covered as much as what probably we should have done. Me personally, I think Colorado will be spurred on by that win against Galaxy. I think they might just nick it, but again, they've got to show that they can score goals. Again, I know they beat Galaxy, but it's just one goal. They've got to start scoring more goals in games and stop conceding as well.
It was their struggle last season, if I seem to remember.
Yeah, it was their struggle.
Their highest goal scorer, I think, only had 5 last season.
Yeah,
which
so that just says it all,
rare.
but obviously there's time to improve. I'm going to go 2-0 Colorado.
I'm going to book the trend. I'm going to back DC. I think this is where they're going to kick off their season. I'm saying 1-0 DC. Home advantage is going to count here.
So we've all gone for a home draw and away there in that one.
Yes.
Right, that was our score predictions, guys. So
hopefully this week we can get it a little better.
hopefully we can obviously get some redemption. Moving swiftly
Last
forward.
week's results were, sorry Mark,
Yes,
they were pretty insane, they weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I don't think any of us got anything close hardly.
I don't think anybody else who predicted any of the results
the only one we got close was, I think, Rich, you predicted 1-1 in the New York City versus Toronto, and it finished 2-2.
Yeah, well,
Hang on, I think I got the Kansas game correct.
I think I'll talk.
Kansas.
Well, yeah, I think I'll take the
What you
credit
have
for that.
1-0 Vancouver.
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought I had 2. Okay, ignore me. I thought I predicted 2.
What was the final score on that one?
2-1 Kansas. I thought I
The
predicted 2.
closest was Rich. He got 2. He went 2-0 Kansas.
Oh, I thought. Oh, I apologise. I thought it
We
went
should
with
start
Kansas.
listening to Rich a lot more.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rich, source of wisdom.
I won't bother.
Source of wisdom.
Please,
Unless
for your own sakes, just don't listen to me.
Right, moving swiftly forward, we're going to go and move on to some shout-outs now, because not me myself, but John and Rich have been in contact with some American and Irish correspondents in the MLS. Guys, do you want to enlighten our listeners about that?
Yes. First of all, the one that me and Rich have had a few wonderful conversations last weekend with, whilst we were watching the game, live tweeting about it, analysing, of course. Some lovely people over at the New York City Football Club podcast. Go follow them at Twitter under that name. They started tweeting us, and we had some wonderful exchange during the match. And we did hint. We don't know if it's going to come true, but possibly we could get them on the podcast. We'll see what they think. New York City podcast. Please tweet us back. What do you think? Do you want to come on? Have a little listen.
By all
means.
means.
Was great to give them.
By all means.
It was interesting to get a perspective of someone who was actually at the match as well to sort of converse with. We went down to the bar and we took my laptop.
One problem
phone,
living in
etc.
England.
And we got in contact with a lot of people from the other side of the pond, and we got a lot of fan engagement. Also, we got Mikey Lopez liked one of our tweets.
Yes, we
Shout out.
got Mike Lopez of New York City Football Club.
If we can get you on the podcast as well.
Lopez, we love you.
I mean, to be fair, he did miss a sitter, but we've all been there.
Lopez,
we've all been there.
Lopez, we do.
Yeah. So
Apologies there if you listen to that.
I mean, yeah. So we got a like off him, which is always good to have anybody who retweets or likes or follows us at @source_MLS.
We want your fan involvement, ladies and gentlemen.
Fan involvement, we live and breathe fan
It's
involvement.
what we want. During games when we're live tweeting, hell, if it's just something we put out, hell, if you want to ask us a question, please just go send us a retweet or follow us on Facebook. Twitter, it's @source_MLS. Please send us your questions or our respective Twitter handles.
Or even if you think we're just speaking absolute rubbish, we'd love to know why you think so.
Yeah, and we'd love to talk to you. Our personal Twitter handles, if you don't want to go to the Source one, myself is @JohnJDate. Mark, yours is
@MarkWakefield95.
and Rich.
It's Richard Cusack 1.
Yes,
So
please get in touch with us. We love to hear from you guys.
if you've got any predictions, if you think our predictions are wrong, please get in touch with us. The other people we've been talking to, or I've been following their website as well, is a friend of ours called SourceMLS, who do fantasy MLS football, because after my first week I didn't do too good, and I had
You didn't do too good.
hang on. I didn't do too good, so I thought I'd check out their website, which is at mlscheat.com. I had a look at what they had, and it really helped me out. I mean, I've done a lot better this week on. Despite the fact that I've got a better score, though, I've managed to go down a place. Everyone in our league's done so well.
Yeah, but I think one of your major problems, John, and it is a major problem that John really does need ridiculing for, David Villa.
Yep. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
I can top that.
Okay, hang on.
No,
People
yeah.
need to laugh. I benched David Villa for the Toronto game. Yeah, hang on. Let's have a pause for the laughter, please, ladies and gentlemen. Mock my stupidity.
We need a laughing track. We need a laughing track.
Ladies and gentlemen, send us videos of you laughing at my failure.
Mate,
The
you're
look
not
on
bottom
Rich's
league.
face when Villa scored the 2 goals was perfect.
It wasn't even anything like that. I just sort of like looked at him because I knew that you had him in your team. I just looked at him and I was thinking, why aren't you like dancing on the table celebrating? And he went, "Where's my bench?"
Yeah, so
and I just kind of thought, hang on a minute.
Right.
2 things. One, if you want to shot at MLS glory and you want to prove that you're better than the MLS team and a few others,
It's not very hard.
not very hard in Mark's case or mine.
Or mine. I'm 10th out of 11.
Hang on. So follow us, of course, on Join MLS Soccer. It's free to sign up. What is it? I believe it's fantasy.mlssoccer.com.
You can sign in with your Twitter account. It's
You can-
dead easy peasy, isn't it? That's how I did mine. I just clicked the Twitter
Sign
button
up and join our league for a bit of glory. We're about Mark's just trying to find the code in a moment to join up. However, also if you need some tips, as I said, our friends over at MLS Cheat give you some great tips. Have helped me out a lot this
Right.
week.
Shout out to Nick G. Baker, who is top of our fantasy league.
Mr. Baker, congratulations. Second week running.
We need some tips from you if you want to get in touch with us. We
He-
could love to have some tips from
He
you.
is running the show, to be fair, isn't
Yes. Him and Eric O'Rourke.
You
I'm
need to
I hope
go-
I'm pronouncing that
Need
right.
to go check out Cheat MLS. MLS Cheat. They'll tell you how
See,
to do it.
I've made some catch up. I've caught up a little bit. I had a really good week.
Yeah, for the second week in a row, ladies and gentlemen, both Rich and Mark occupied
I
the
think
bottom
I
two.
was literally at one point I was 6th during last Sunday night's game.
Yeah, there was a bit where Rich went up to 6th, I went up to 5th, and now we've dropped down to 8th and 10th respectively.
And also,
You're not 11th though, like mine.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to make a comeback this week
and I've
Well-
because I have made some key transfers.
He's made some key transfers.
I have ditched Bradley Wright Phillips because, like I said, it alluded to in the match preview, he has not impressed so far. But one player who I wish I put in from the start is Giovinco. He has more than impressed, and he is my captain now. And I've also put in Joao Plata as well, who hopefully should impress.
Valerio didn't have much of a week last.
No, he didn't impress like we thought he would do.
I'm just going to say one thing. Actually, no, I'm going to say 2
The
things.
weight of expectation, isn't it?
One, you've got a defender playing midfielder in Clark versus Duval for Houston versus New York Red Bulls. And second of all, isn't Sates the backup goalkeeper for Dallas?
Yes, but look on my bench.
Uh,
For those of you who cannot see, I have Frey on my bench at the moment.
Why are you not
and
playing?
he has a red exclamation mark.
We're going to give him one last shout out. Go check out MLS Cheat. They'll help you, Mark. Get
Why
better
not?
up the league.
Put Fernando Adi up front.
Oh, good point, actually. We'll debate.
Yeah, because Adoro, Giovinco and Plata all have scored goals in recent
I know, but Ajoro's playing Dallas away, but Adi's playing Salt Lake at home.
Well, hang on. We'll talk about the changes we make to Mark's fantasy team. We'll put a tweet out later.
I would like to just give a quick shout out to @PeterMJoy, who definitely has not texted me this morning asking for a shout out. But I'd like to just say that he is continuing the long running family tradition of absolutely annihilating me in any form of fantasy football league that we do.
Another
Be it
shout,
NFL, MLS and Premier League.
Shout out to him as well because he was the highest scorer.
And congratulations because
highest scoring last week.
because he did have the highest round score
Shall we have a look
by
at-
9
shall we have a
points.
look at his
Yeah,
team?
let's dissect
Let's have a look-
Peter's
let's
team,
dive a look
shall
at his
we?
team. Shuttleworth in goal.
I mean, David Villa with 30 points. I mean, that's
David
pretty.
Villa.
That's pretty
John, that's
impressive.
painful for you to see, John. Painful.
Despite the fact he got -2 for Harris, that's the
Yes.
biggest blow.
He has Steres in, who I think I've put in my team as well. Dempsey's on his bench.
Yeah, I'm not surprised though. Cause
does he like Seattle or does he not like Seattle? I'm trying to work out.
I don't know, but like Tyrone Mears on the bench.
Because he's got Frey, he's got Frey, Mears, and Dempsey, but they're on his bench, so he either.
Yeah,
likes
but
them or
perhaps he's
doesn't
waiting
like
for him to come good though. I'll speak to him about it.
Is he going to do what I do and take a chance on Seattle against Vancouver this week?
I'll ask him tonight. When I see him, the derby game tomorrow.
But one player he has got in his team who I really am a big fan of is Diaz for Dallas. First week he played very, very well, but last week obviously he got overshadowed by the fact that they got beaten convincingly by Houston 5-0. One thing I've noticed, we are dissecting my team a lot.
Well, that's because you bottom.
But I think we should dissect your two teams now.
Okay,
because John has been taking my namesake for his team. We'll
It's not my fault you didn't come up with a good name.
We'll have a look at his team first. So let's have a look. And let's just have a look who's on his bench. David Villa.
I'm just gonna say.
We looked at Peter
where are you in the league?
I'm sorry, Tom. John.
Tom. Where are you, Tom?
Tom?
I literally don't know where I've got that from.
Where credit is due there, John. You have got Amarikwa.
Alonso, Bradley, Clark, Leggett.
David Villa would have scored you 30 points.
Can I just ask, why have you captained Leggett?
If he was your captain.
Because I thought they were going to beat Colorado.
Why aren't you captain a striker who's more likely to score you goals? I mean, look, he's like. Well, Amarikwa in hindsight would have been a good captain, but obviously that's in hindsight.
Yeah. I didn't have too much faith, but I had faith in LA, which did not pay off.
I mean, the easy thing for us to say would be why didn't you start David Villa? We could quite easily say that.
Yeah.
Oh, just ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest coming into the studio.
Re-entering the studio, ladies and gentlemen, is Danielle Easton.
Danielle Easton is into the studio.
Danielle, why have you not joined our fantasy league?
Yeah, shall we do that now?
No, not now. It would take too long. However, ladies and gentlemen, as we said, go to fantasy.mlssoccer.com. The access code is 598-479. Just click join private league once you made your team. Type in 598-479 to join our league. Take ourselves on. Only 2 weeks at Pash. You can easily make up the points difference.
Right.
Bring it on.
Just to be fair, we've looked at mine and John's team.
Rich needs a bit of an analysis.
Whose turn is it now? It's feed the drog time.
Feed the drog.
No,
feed the drog.
No, you don't need to say much about mine, do you?
Just gonna have to say,
you have got Giovinco in your team.
Ladies and gentlemen of Montreal fan base, what do you think of Rich's name? Feed the Drog, I have to say, is quite good.
It is a good name.
If Drogba starts playing, I don't know if to start him this week or not.
I think, Rich, for you, the only reason you aren't bottom is because of the two team players you've got in your team, and that is Giovinco and Piatek.
Yeah.
They have been phenomenal so far this season.
And that's not a bad defence for saying
Are these
Oh.
English?
Hang on.
For those of you who don't, this is Danielle.
This is our intern.
Yes, a special guest on our podcast this week.
Okay, are these American footballers?
Yes.
American
soccer
players.
Okay. Don't know any of them. I know English ones.
Do you know who this is?
Our intern, ladies and
Do you know who
gentlemen.
that is?
Steven Gerrard, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she knows one. We've got one.
You know Gerrard, right?
Yeah, because
okay.
there's like him, isn't there like Frank Lampard and Ashley Cole playing?
Yeah.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so good at this.
Brilliant.
That's only because all my family supports Chelsea, so that's the only reason I know them.
Out. No. Okay. Is there anything more to talk about in the podcast, ladies and gentlemen?
I think we should promote. Shall we promote Danielle's blog? Shall we?
Yes. We'll give a shout out to Danielle's blog.
Danielle, do
yeah.
you just want to talk about what your blog is?
Oh, that's like put me on the spot. Okay. My blog is about basically like it's kind of like a diary of the past. Oh, can you not hear me?
No, just talking to the microphone.
Okay, it's kind of like a diary of like the past year and like my whole weight loss journey kind of thing. So basically last January I was like nearly 5 stone heavier basically. So yeah, it's just about talking about weight loss, who like inspired me, how I did it, like yeah, motivation, the struggle. I'm actually struggling at the moment because I don't know what other I need a new blog post.
Where can we find your blog?
My blog is on WordPress.
Yeah.
So it's called 22 to 12. So it's like the numbers 22 and then TO. The numbers
And
1,
then 1 2.
Then 1 2. Yeah.
.wordpress.com.
Yeah, that's
And have you got a Twitter handle we can follow?
Yeah, it's at Dorsey Easton. So it's at DORSEY EASTON.
And,
Yeah.
if you are listening to a certain individual, Jason Derulo, we'd love you to give you a follow to our friend Danielle, because it would shut her up.
Yeah, you did actually like one of my tweets, and I cried, and it literally made.
But
my
no,
day.
by all means, go and check out Danielle's blog. It's very interesting and very good read.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
very
Also, can you get your fans to check out ours? A little
Yes.
share and share.
Yes.
And
I
Anyway.
love
Sharing
that.
is caring.
And we will get you to make a fantasy team.
Yeah, but
the
you-
more the merrier in the league.
Just
Yeah,
so,
get
just
your-
so
get your
Mark isn't
fans-
bottom. Just so Mark isn't bottom.
Yeah, just well, she probably would be if I wasn't at a 2-week head start as well.
Okay,
So,
ladies and gentlemen, I don't think there's much else to say, is there,
No.
this week?
I don't think so. No, I think we're all
I came
set,
back just in time.
covered.
First of all, I want to say thank you to our guest this week, Danielle. Thanks for coming on.
having me.
Thank you for the cameo. You have to get you in next time properly.
This has been the SourceMLS podcast with Mark, Rich, and myself. Thank you for listening. Good night.
Good night.